go out the arena, mate, I'll announce you. Send for you. You can leave your stuff in there if you want, then I'll call you.
That's all, Phil. That's lovely. All right.
Down the side.
Oh, six, okay. Oh, we need to use that's fine. Lee, you're live now, or as in whatever you say there, you'll be live.
Yeah, I said, Scott, you sit behind the tally as well.
Okay, welcome to the final of the second event in the Supreme Pool Series, the Strachan Cup. 128 players started out, and now we're down to 2. First of all, I'll introduce the timekeeper, Lynn Cornell, on my right-hand side. Clap if you want, everybody. Our referee for the final is George Bradbury. Okay, our first semi-finalist is just taking out the tournament favourite, one of the greatest players ever to grace our sport, Phil Harrison. And making his second appearance in a final of the Supreme Pool Series, which is no mean feat, Liam Dunster. In the commentary box we have Ronan McCarthy, Gareth Potts and Nick Finn. We'll get a few photos and then we'll get the final underway. Good luck to both players.
So the scene has been set. We've been here for 3 days. We started with 128. And here we are down to the last 2. On the left of the screen, Phil Harrison. On the right of the screen, Liam Dunster. What a final this could prove to be. It's been a long time coming. We apologise for the lateness of it, but it's been one of those days. There's been a lot of pool played throughout this weekend, and we're glad to get to this point. It gives me great pleasure to introduce. We're in safe hands today with Gareth Potts and Ronan McCarthy. Good evening, gents.
Good evening.
How do you see this final playing out? I mean, Liam has just come off the back of a fairly grueling final there against John. And Phil is fairly breezed past Mick Hill, the tournament favourite, as Lee mentioned beforehand. Is that going to have any bearing, do you think, on the final? Who's going to be mentally prepared the best?
Yeah, I think obviously Phil's going to feel good. You know, he's just beat Mick. He's just battered Mick. He beat him 11-3, and apparently, he played good. I spoke to him just, and he said he felt that match against Mick there was, as good a match as he's played for quite a while. Liam is. I spoke to him also afterwards, and he was very disappointed how he played, and I understand why. It was a struggle, but I did say to him, look, on the end of that trophy, it doesn't say how, it just says who. And of course you're going to have a bad match or some bad matches, and you have to understand that, you know, you can't play perfect every time. And I sort of had a bit of a chat with him about that and said this is a new match. And so I think confidence-wise and mindset-wise, of course, Phil is going to be in a better place. You know, he's just come off the back of playing great, and Dunster's just come off the back of playing not so great. But it is a new match. It is a total new mindset, and the score is now 0-0. You start again. It's a different opponent. The table's been brushed and ironed, and you start again.
So Ronan, I mean, you've played in loads of these type of events. It's 3 grueling days going on here, isn't it? And although both of these players have come in the main through the winner's section, it's still mentally draining. Just give us a feel for what that's like, getting to the final. I mean, are you still buzzing on adrenaline, or are you just trying to get across the line?
No, I think the fact that you're there and what you're playing for and all the rest, you know, it should take over, and your mind should be able to tell you to focus. Everybody's different.
Yeah.
Everybody's different. Some people can do it and some can't. But obviously these 2 players are two that can. You know, that's why they're there, because they're very, very mentally strong. And I've seen Phil win a big competition. He beat Mark Farnsworth in the final at 3 o'clock in the morning. So
the elite, yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
So you know he can do it.
Yeah.
And Liam's a young, fit lad, very mentally strong. So I don't see a problem with these 2 lads.
Just as you were saying that, Phil has played a great shot on his third to last ball there.
Yeah, he did.
He potted his third to last ball and screwed top cushion, side cushion. And it was important that he didn't finish straight on that second to last ball across the top rail, and he couldn't have put it better with his hands. So great start from Phil.
The one thing that I've noticed throughout this tournament, I've been watching closely at Liam's results and the scores as he progresses through his matches, and he seems to have been quite a slow starter during the first half of every match he's played. He's either been behind or he's been kind of on level terms, and then he seems to accelerate away. Was that a feature in the... I obviously didn't watch the final because I was the semi-final. I was commentating on the other game.
No, it wasn't, because it was both of them had wee runs at 2 or 3 frames, but none of them could really get that much momentum to really push on.
Yeah. It
was very like 2 frames here, 2 frames there, and it was a bit stop-start. Both of them did not play great in that match.
Yeah.
But, you know, hopefully in the final now, the fact that Liam's in the final, hopefully he can you know, kick on a bit, but he's got his hands full with Phil.
Yeah, so I mean, you look at the 2 players, you've got Liam, this is his, I mean, back-to-back finals in this field.
Unbelievable.
It's just, I mean, who would have ever called that? They said that there's no chance of there being 2 of the same finalists all the way through, and here he is, he's made it in the first 2 events.
Brilliant.
Shows how incredible he is. And from Phil's perspective, he's been doing this for years. He's going to take so much confidence from that win against Mick, having lost the World Champions just a couple of weeks ago, and now coming to this off the back of that win, and not just beating Mick. I mean, he's beaten him 11-3.
Yeah, and you know, listen, you know, we'll call this the way it is. Phil Harrison is one of the greatest pool players that have ever played the game, and one of the most prolific tournament winners ever. Make no mistake about it, raised to 11 in the final of a big event, Phil Harrison is a big favourite to win this match, there's no doubt.
Yeah.
He is one of the greatest players ever. He's just come off the back of beating another one of the greatest players ever in the other semi-final. And his record on, you know, the tour, his tour that he plays on over the last 2 or 3 years has been unbelievable. He is probably the best club tournament winner because he plays in every single little tour event up and down the country. He is probably the best tour tournament winner in club pool ever.
Yeah.
He is obviously an all-time great.
Yeah.
If we had a Hall of Fame, like we probably should do at some point, Phil Harrison would be right up there.
Yeah.
So listen, he is a big favourite to win this match, but at the same time, Liam is the new kid on the block. He's been to 2 finals and still counting in this event, and of course he can more than win this match. He has more than enough to beat Phil in this match.
It just goes to show you how good Phil is when this is Liam's 2nd final in a row, and we're saying that Phil's favourite. you know, it just goes to show his pedigree.
I have to be honest, you know, I mean, sometimes I do struggle a little bit to watch Phil, in the sense of he's perfect, he shakes his head, you know, he's very sort of dramatic, he's very sort of animated, and, you know, he's shaking his head all the time, he looks very... But listen, I do love watching him in other ways, because I do love the way he plays the game of 8-ball. In my opinion, he plays the game the way it should be played. He doesn't just crash into balls 100 mile an hour not knowing what's happening. He tries to work everything out, he's calculated, and he is an all-time great, and I do love watching the way he actually goes about the finish, the order he takes the balls. I
think the two of them are very, very similar. I think Liam was a young Phil Harrison.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't think either of the two of them are particularly overly talented.
Yeah.
But they're very, very clever the way they play the game,
Yeah.
and they practice hard. They keep themselves right. You know, they're not out drinking, like I said earlier on. Both of them are very serious competitors.
It's interesting, just pick up on something that you said there, Gareth. Phil's obviously quite well known, for want of a better word, for the histrionics, for the gurning and the little face moves as soon as he runs out of position. I made a comment during the other semi-final. I didn't see any of that. I mean, I know he was playing well, but even when he's playing well, you still see that. There just seemed a real grit and determination that he wanted to get that revenge and beat Mick. And it was quite unusual, because it just wasn't Phil. He just had the same expression of steely determination all the way through the game. So it'd be interesting to see how he is through the final. So Liam is working his way through this second frame, and both players playing to a really high standard. Just went out of position slightly.
Oh, he's okay. I'll not miss that.
It will miss that.
Oh my God.
Goodness me.
Oh. I'm shocked.
Phil was up out of his seat there, like, you wouldn't believe. He literally just he catapulted out of his seat.
I'm sure he's as shocked as we are.
But it just goes to show that, you know, you have to make sure that you concentrate on every shot. And the good thing with Liam, as I mentioned in the other match that he played, is his temperament is good. Of course, that does have an impact. It would have an impact on anybody missing a ball like that. But it doesn't affect him as much as it does most. You can see he just sat there in his chair. Look, he's still sitting upright. His body language is confident, you know, and he still knows there's a long way to go. Yes, he's made a mistake, but one thing he does need to understand is he cannot miss blacks like that against Phil Harrison, because he will definitely lose this match.
But just touching on that, I mean, Liam, during the last final, you could probably say that his nerves got the better of him a couple of times during that final. It just seemed a little bit edgy, and that may have cost him a couple of frames. And he was obviously mortified at the end of it. He was speechless to lose. Is it easy to forget that, or is that going to play on his mind slightly, and he's going to be desperate to win this? He doesn't want to rerun. You talk about mental strength, but it's a different kind of thing.
It is, and you know, I think it's important how you perceive things, and that's why I do think it's important, you know, when you're at these big events and, you know, you're spending a long time, to have somebody with you that says the right things to you, keeps you in the right frame of mind. And what I mean by that is, if I was with Liam Dunster, I'd be telling him that he's been to 2 of these events, and he got to the final of the first one, he's in the final of this and counting, which is an unbelievable achievement in itself. Win or lose, to get to 2 finals of these events is an unbelievable achievement. He won the big IPA event last week, beating Ronan in the final. That was a series. He is one of the best players in the world on current form at the minute. you have to take all these things into account and understand where you're at and take the positives from it and approach the match with a positive mental attitude. All those things are important, and I did have a chat with Liam before the match, and I did sort of tell him that, because he was talking to me and he did seem a little bit down about his performance even though he'd won, and I did say to him, look, it doesn't matter, you know, you won, you're in the final, you start again.
But again, it goes to show you how good he is, because I was talking to him there, and he said that he struggled all weekend. And to me, that's a sign of a great player. When you're struggling all weekend and you're standing there in the final, you know, it says a lot about him.
Frame 3, fell to break, leading 2 frames to 0. Time running.
So Phil to break off in frame number 3. Let's have a look at this break. Do you know, there was a point during the other match that after the game somebody went over and spoke to Phil and said to him, do you know that out of however many 8 breaks that you had, 7 times you parked it between kind of an inch along the side rail and 4 inches along the side rail? And he said, yeah, I don't know what I'm doing, I think I must be coming across it or something. And he's done it again there, hasn't he? Just screwed straight into the middle bag.
And it is a very bad shot. It is a very bad shot to screw or stun Strachan off. On the chat we have someone, the username is Quinton Han. I'm not convinced that is the Quinton Han. But if it is, he was a fantastic 8-ball player as well. Controversial, of course, but very, very good.
So I was just smiling there because the referee George, he marked the ball, and normally they put the ball to the side rail or bottom rail so they know which one it is, and he put it down in front of him. He wasn't sure which ball he marked. He had to ask the other referee. George Bradbury, he's been all weekend, and he's done a great job at refereeing.
There he is. Loves it, George.
Superb ref, actually. He's been pretty much flawless. When you think the amount of concentration you need over these prolonged periods.
Yeah.
I don't think the refs get enough credit. Not only do they not get enough credit, the spotlight's on them if they make a small mistake.
Yeah, especially now with the rack situation. You know, every frame they've got something to do. Where before, you know, they would just rack the balls up and they could just almost stand there and switch off a lot of the time. Where now it's different. You know, they're having to most of the time, you know, mark a ball or.
Great effort from Liam.
He's all right. He's actually been very. Oh, he's not on it, but he's got the angle on the other one to kick it. So it could have been a lot worse.
Well, he has got the angle, but he needs a step ladder to get to it.
Yeah, but if he hasn't got that angle, you know, he can't really get them.
Yeah, he's going to have to. He's going to have to obviously use the spider.
The referee's asking for the furniture, and Liam's just having a look to see if he can reach it.
Oh, it's all right, mate.
Well, how often do you see one of these used on a pool table?
Quinton's back on saying one love, guys, regards Quinton. If that is Quinton, yeah, I am obviously playing in China and I do have a Chinese table at my club, so if you fancy getting involved and having a game, you have to give me a shout.
Oh, Liam's been a bit unfortunate there, hasn't he?
Well, it wasn't really, because the chances of that coming out good was
Oh, it's, yeah.
it
Okay.
was
It's a low percentage.
Yeah,
that's what you're
yeah.
saying, yeah.
and he needed to hit the red and he's hit the yellow, so hitting the yellow, it wasn't really giving him any chance.
It is a total snooker, which means you can drop onto the back of
It
this.
was too
It's not
slow.
hard enough.
Worst thing you can do is be short.
Well,
And it's going to be a foul snooker.
he's really struggling here now.
And playing like this, making the mistakes he's making, it's hard to make a case to see how he's going to get close to Phil in this match, never mind win it.
So just for people who maybe don't know the world rules quite so well, because Phil can't see either side of one of his object balls, it's called a foul snooker. And Phil has the option, he can either play from where he is and he can nominate a ball, but he has to nominate an exact ball, or alternatively he can pick up the white ball and put it into the bulk area, which is what he's chosen to do. If then it's subsequently he still can't see one of his balls, it's still a foul snooker, and he can still play that that free ball, but obviously in this case it's not.
Liam's really going to have to find his game soon, or he's going to be too far gone, because Phil's just not going to make mistakes.
Nice to see Darren Appleton pop into the chat box. Hope you've had a good weekend. Sorry you couldn't stay with us, and we hope everything's okay at your end. We send our best wishes.
He is on the one just above the black, just.
Just goes, does it?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, okay. So he's fine.
Oh,
Oh my goodness me.
he's still alright. It's another shot.
But he's got to, he is, well, I knew he had two shots, but he's lucky because he hit the near knuckle, he's lucky he didn't
Yeah.
go up the side rail.
If it runs another inch, it's tricky. Short again. Oh,
He's
it's
just
alright.
okay.
Unusual error from Phil, not one you expect. Normally very clinical in amongst the balls.
Oh my
Oh,
god.
wow.
What's going on?
Wow.
Phil's about as dismayed as everyone else, I think.
Phil would probably miss one of them every year.
If that.
It's just really threw Liam a lifeline here, where Liam was.
Well, Liam's been struggling, hasn't he? I
Oh,
mean,
it's-
this.
But there's nothing that'll bring you back to life like
Yeah.
somebody missing one of those. Oh my god. It was- I think fatigue must be coming into play here, because
These guys have been on the table non-stop
Yeah,
for
yeah.
about the last sort of 5 hours, haven't they? So it's a lot of frames of pool, a lot of time to focus.
This is one of those shots where you just commit to the pot. He will play it to the left, top left corner as we look. He doesn't have to worry about the cue ball. Just pot the ball and he will be on the black.
Yeah, good shot. Again, it's massive because Liam's thinking it's 3-0 down and game slipping away, and now all of a sudden it's 2-1 and it's anybody's game again.
Massive.
Liam's probably sitting in his seat now happier than Phil. Well, he's definitely happier than Phil, even though he's 2-1 down. That's possibly one of the easiest blacks missed all weekend.
Yeah.
You know, from one of the greatest players in the planet. It just goes to show you everybody's human.
Phil's still shaking his head over that one. His friend Rich Wharton has just sat to the side.
Will be interesting to see how that affects Phil. Can be the type of person to let things like that affect him sometimes. Sometimes it's how the pool gods sort of allow it to go. I mean, if Phil has to do something hard this next frame, as something sort of quite difficult to do, it'll be interesting to see. Sometimes you get an easy finish the next frame, settles you back down, gets you 2-frame lead back, and sort of almost all's forgotten.
And essentially it's back on serve because it's Liam to break in the fourth. I'll be feeling very happier with life at the moment. And he's broken well there. The red balls, the better option, black and the yellow tied up. Obviously there's one problem red. It's funny watching the final against Mick, and I mentioned earlier Phil didn't miss a ball, and he's missed 2 in a frame.
Red ball's in play.
And indeed Liam nominates reds, and he's going to get this difficult ball out straight away. Again, let's just let that one get away. I don't think he's snookered, he can just get below the black, but doesn't have any attacking options. I think we'll probably see him just go, well, depends if he's total or not. I don't think he's total. Well, maybe he can get through to this one at the top corner. So he played to hold on the one at the top rail and glanced it a bit too fine. So, big shot now. No. couple of mistakes from both players early doors. The problem with these weekends, and there you see Liam taking a drink of Red Bull just to keep himself awake, but I don't think that's always the best thing. It's instant energy, but there's always a crash afterwards.
In all fairness, Nick, I don't think he'll be too bothered about the crash afterwards. He just wants to get through.
Yeah, it's whether the crash happens during the match, that's the problem. I mean, the thing is with these weekends, you do tend to... I mean, I watched the money match quite some time ago, and the guy played brilliantly all the way through, and he got to the hill, and he lost 7 frames on the trot, and he spoke to me afterwards and said it just felt like he had no arms and legs. And I said, all you've done all day is drink Red Bull, Coke, and eat chips and sandwiches. I said, why don't next time you try to take a bottle of water and a bunch of bananas into the corner and see how you get on? Because, you know, at the end of the day, you do have to look after your body at the same time. If you're putting in these long shifts, I mean, it's not the most energetic of games, but you're still burning energy all the time.
Yeah, and I think, you know, Liam, you know, he's not big, he's not overweight. I think obviously he looks after himself. And I think he's just having that as a little bit of a quick fix, just a little bit of an energy boost. It is late. He has been playing a lot. But you know, at the end of the day, we have to remember we are playing pool at the end of the day. You know, it's not tennis.
Oh yeah, it's not just gone 28, 26
no,
or whatever that was the other day.
No, it's not. It's not physically exerting like that.
Fairly big tip for a pool player. I think he used a 9mm Elkmaster.
Always has had, and I always remember it being bigger than that. Actually, is that what it is? 9mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does actually look bigger than that, but yeah. Plus and minuses.
Yeah.
Of a tip that big.
I think probably the average for pool nowadays is probably about 8 1/4, something like that. Most players pay between kind of 8 and 8.5.
I always used to play with that sort of size, and then the year I won the IPA Worlds when I'd been playing in China, and I actually used my snooker cue with the 9.5mm because it just looked, the contrast going back to my old English cue just looked too much of a contrast. So I used my snooker cue, which just looked normal. Now, had you ever said to me when I used to play English 8-ball, you've got to use a snooker cue to play with a 9.5mm tip, I'd have said impossible. There is plus and minuses of, like I said, of playing with a bigger and smaller tip. The big plus for me of a bigger tip is those pressure balls. When you've got to pop those long pressure balls and you've got to find the middle of the cue ball, it is easier with a bigger tip. Smaller tip, you can flick a little bit of unwanted side on. Playing shots with side spin, the little intricate little shots where you're playing cannons and nudges with side spin, is definitely easier with a smaller tip. So each their own, but yeah, you're right. I think anything around sort of maybe 8.5 is around about probably the average, the norm.
So Liam Dunster, that's his route through to this final. In round 1, he played Max Nosko, and he won 11-9. Jack Whelan, he beat 11-8. Then he played Ben Rowland, he won 11-2. In the winners round 3, Gaz Royds 11-4. Winners qualification, played John McAllister, and he lost 11-7. Then he played Stevie Dempsey and won 8-5 in the losers qualification. Quarter-final, Carl Donahue beat him at 11-8, and the semi-final, John McAllister, which you have just recently seen. notice in Phil's break,
Ball's parked.
he gets down in stance, and then just before he's going to deliver the cue, he lifts his head, and then pulls back and drives through. Is he trying to generate some power just to? Because there's not many players do that, is there?
Yeah, and what he's trying to do is obviously he wants to drive the cue through as far as possible, so he actually sort of lifts and twists and moves his body out of the way so in order so he can drive the cue through. That's why you find a lot of players on the break, they stand a little bit more sideways on, which is when you stand sideways on, you can twist your body and get it out of the way in order to drive your arm through to create the power.
We were looking at some different styles of breaks earlier today. We were looking at McHill's, and it's almost like he feathers, and then when he lets go of the break, it's almost like he's pulling back a spring on a short. He's pulling back a spring, and then he just launches forward, and it's not a massive follow through as big as we see with some players. Another missed ball there from Phil. Really uncharacteristic.
It's a bit like the semi-final when Liam played John. He's getting a few chances that he's not expecting, and it's keeping him in the match here. You would never ever expect Phil to miss them balls, and he's throwing Liam lifelines, and if he keeps doing it, it could cost him in the end. That was a relatively easy clearance here. In fact, you couldn't have got much better off the break, and Phil hasn't took advantage, so. Perfect.
Does he try at any point to move the one on the rail, or is he just going to play across and land on it?
Probably play onto it now, or else play onto the one to the middle and then take it.
Yeah.
It depends just the angle he's got. I think you can maybe drop on it now and then take the bottom one here. He's not perfect, so he's probably playing it last now. The black to the middle.
Yeah, for me this is the right way to leave it to last, because you didn't have to do nothing with the cue ball this way.
Yeah, just drop it in.
You can just drop it in and be dead straight on the black, so he's definitely took these in the right order.
Yeah.
So he's taken full advantage of a couple of mistakes that Phil has made, and again, where Phil could have got some a bit of space, a bit of air between him and Liam. I mean, arguably Phil could be clearing these up for 5-0.
It should be 5-0 up.
Yeah.
And he's again, Liam's still in the match and he hasn't done anything. You know, it's Phil's errors more than Liam's good play.
Maybe his name's on it because
yeah, possibly.
he was just saying to Lee Kender beforehand when Lee said, you know, there was a couple of edgy shots right at the end there, and Liam said, I was edgy all through the game, and he said, to be honest, I haven't played well all weekend.
Yeah.
And here he is in the final.
That's what I say. It goes to show you what a player he is when he hasn't played well and he's in there 3-2 down. But again, no matter how well you're playing, you still need a bit of luck.
Yeah.
There's a big percentage of luck involved in the game, and if you don't get that luck, you're not going to win no matter how well you're playing. So some people might not be playing as well, but they just get the opportunities when they need them.
So here we go. This is Phil's route through. He played Matt Brearley. I spoke to Matt before that match started, and he said, "Oh, I fancy my chances." He said, "I've been pretty close to Phil the last time we played," and then Matt beat him 11. Phil beat him 11-2. Then he beat Richard King, Chris Melling, 11-4. A tight game against Gareth Hibbert that went hill for 11-10. Then he played Jordan Church, 11-9. Lee Clough.
Yeah, Jordan
won that one, sorry. Yeah.
Jordan beat him.
He did, yeah. So he went into losers qualification against Lee Clough, 8-6. Harjeet Singh in that tight game, 11-9, and Harjeet was 9-6 up. And then he's just beaten Mick Hill at 11 frames to 3.
3 frames to time running.
Yeah, it's a hard run he's had there to the final. There's at least 4 real world-class players.
Straight in off. Wasn't kicked. Cardinal. So Phil presented with another golden opportunity.
Home table, time running.
But there are problems on both sets of balls. What's the plan here, Ronan?
I think he'll probably need to go yellows. He's probably he's going to have to leave an angle. He's going to have to pop one and leave an angle to try and kick the yellow and red over the middle. But I think he's definitely got to go yellows. Can't see any future in the reds.
Yeah, he's a bit puzzled by it himself.
He's went reds.
Red balls in play.
I'm surprised, unless they're red beside the yellow, the middle's gone. It's maybe back doubles.
Yeah, that looks tight as well, doesn't it?
Unless he just couldn't find a way of getting into that yellow beside the red. Oh, he's played a great shot here.
Oh, that's wonderful. I
He
mean,
completely
Phil slaps his leg as if.
like it's not good.
I mean, I don't think he could have played that much better, could he?
No, he's perfect.
So he's going to play the one at the rail first and double. That's a great double.
That's why I went reds, because it was back doubling.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if it was doubling.
And now he's it's just about joining the dots, isn't it?
Yeah, it's game over.
Phil's technique is very compact. There's not too much that can go wrong.
It's a bit like Mark Allen at the snooker or something. He seems to be everyone's very close and not much swinging about. It's all.
See, he has a very, very short backswing at times. Very short. But because of his short backswing, sort of less that can go wrong.
Yeah, there's not much can go wrong.
Yeah, it's
That's why it's so amazing that he missed that black in the earlier frame there.
He has a backswing that you see there. On his backswing, it's almost like he hits a wall when he comes back, so it just comes back, if you watch, and just stops. It just comes and stops, like boom there, as though it's hit something and then delivers through. And everything is always the same.
Yeah.
Pre-shot routine the same, backswing, obviously depending on what he's trying to do with the cue ball, how hard and where he's trying to put the cue ball. If you're trying to hit it harder, you have to pull the cue back obviously further, but when he's just trying to pot the ball, everything's always the same, backswing's always the same, follow through the same.
We were talking about cue actions the other day, and kind of comparing someone like Chris Melling, and then we were also looking at Shane Thompson's. Phil's is just entirely different, isn't it? Certainly, I mean, it's a total opposite to someone like Chris Melling's. Complete contrast, but just as effective. Yeah.
Sometimes, Chris maybe sort of. His backswing at times is definitely too long, but sometimes he almost cues too well for an English pool table, especially on these brand new cloths. He almost hits the ball too well.
Yeah.
And then because you're hitting it too well, he's scared of getting hold of it too much, so then he decelerates, which is exactly what he said he did yesterday.
So, is there a perfect cue action for pool?
In my opinion, one of the, or if not the best cue action I've ever seen on an English pool table is probably Jason Twist.
Yeah. Or is it not? Because obviously Phil, his cue action is different, but as effective as anybody's and has been for years.
Yeah.
So is it just whatever works for you? Or should you be, I'm just trying so the guys at home can understand, should they be trying to strive for something in particular?
Yeah, there is obviously a perfect cue action or the textbook cue action. There's a textbook way to stand, a textbook way to have your bridge hand, the way to have your grip. There is all of those sort of things if you were, writing it in a book, but obviously everyone's different. Everyone has their own little way, their own little mannerisms, and in that respect, but you have obviously got to get the fundamentals to a certain degree right to start with. It's not just a case of just what works for you. You've got to have those foundations there.
Someone mentioned Ben Davis's cue action. He does have a very nice action for sure. And then someone else said it's too long, but it's a bit Melling-esque, I guess. Lovely player to watch is Ben Davis. So, Phil's in amongst them again. He's broken, got a ball. And he's taking yellows. Everything has a pocket. Doesn't have to move anything. It's just about cue ball control now.
Yeah, and that's why I said, I do love the way that Phil plays 8-ball. He plays it properly, or the way that I think is the most skillful way, and that is he doesn't touch balls when he doesn't have to, and he won't be touching any balls here.
He's come up somewhat short.
So Malvin's asked why doesn't Lee Kendall play in this? He's more than busy enough messing about, organising it, trust me.
Yeah. Lee puts in hours over this weekend organising things. He couldn't possibly play in it as well.
There's Bazza C. Union on from Northern Ireland. I played doubles with him lately, and he's one of the most graceful cue actions you'll ever see. Absolutely nothing between the ears, but one of the best cue actions you'll see.
Again, Phil is just a bit kind of betwixt and between, isn't he? He's still fine, but maybe not quite as easy as it could have been.
He does have a very, very short backswing. Even on that shot there, Phil, he just almost only took the cue back like an inch. And on this shot as well, he won't pull it back very far, watch. Just boom there and stops.
Oh, what's he done?
Ooh, wow.
Oh my goodness me.
Wow, that's incredible.
That's 3 times he's made massive mistakes to go three clear. He keeps on throwing.
It's
Liam
astonishing.
away.
It's absolutely astonishing. It's not the Phil Harrison I've just watched playing Mick Hill.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe that that determination to win that I mentioned a minute ago, maybe he's just put too much into that game.
I honestly think Liam's going to win this match because he just keeps getting a second opportunity that he has no right to get.
I don't even know what to say about that shot.
He didn't need to be anywhere near the middle, did he?
No, it was two things with it. It was not only the line of it, as you're right, he didn't need to be anywhere near the middle, but also the pace.
Yeah, yeah.
So he didn't only get the line wrong, he hit it. Had he have not gone in the middle, the cue ball would have been in bulk.
Yeah.
The cue ball should have been hitting a bit halfway up the cushion, and it's went straight into the middle. It's just very unlike Phil Harrison. He should be 7-0 up when he's gone before 3.
I think he's just sat there having a chat with Rich Wharton and looking at his body language. He seemed to be saying, when I was playing on that table over there, it did such and such, and I expected him to do something different. I think it was...
I did say to you that was the contrast of the two, the temperaments, which one thing which I did really like about Liam is, he doesn't do that. He sits there and, he doesn't interact. He doesn't need to sort of be telling people, moaning about certain things.
Yeah.
He just sort of sits there and gets on with it, whether he's played a good shot or a bad shot. He doesn't make too much of a big deal of it. And I'm amazed at that.
Liam must just think he's totally blessed to be still in this game.
I know.
Yeah, because he should really be sort of 6-0 down.
Should be 7-0 down.
7-0 of this
The
frame,
3
yeah.
frames he's won, Phil has absolutely handed him to.
The other mistake that Phil made, I said it'd be interesting to see how he responds, and it'll be hard to see the response of that being in a good way after that mistake, because I'm still a little bit shocked actually at that.
It's amazing the contrast after, you come off a match, you've beaten Mick Hill 11-3, you haven't missed the ball, and then all of a sudden, you've missed 3 of the easiest chances you'll ever get.
Yeah.
It goes to show you how much the whole game is between the ears, really, because it's not anything to do with ability or, how good a putter you are. That's just mental breakdowns.
Yeah.
Strange thing, isn't it, pressure?
Unbelievable.
Pressure does
But
strange things.
Is it even pressure, or is it just like
What other explanation
concentration,
would there be? I mean, if you can't concentrate in a final like this, then where can you concentrate? So it has to be pressure, surely.
Yeah, well.
So, Liam yet again with the break to get back on level terms. And every time he's been in this situation, he's not been able to capitalise on it. Can he this time? He's going down and checking the rack. I've never seen him go and inspect the rack and anyone have to move anything with this sharp rack. They're all touching. I mean, I guess at some point he's going to trust it and rely that everything's touching, but he's really methodical in the way he plays, isn't he? I mean, even to the point where when he puts the cue ball down, he places it and then he puts his finger on the top of it and moves it to the exact spot.
Yeah, I get that. I used to do that. It's important that you have the cue ball in the exact same place every single time you break, because you want to strike the cue ball at the maximum acceleration point for you. So it is important that it is exactly in the right place. I was always a little bit sort of particular with that, so I sort of get that with it. One thing he does do is he also sort of checks the rack non-stop for any tiny little gaps, and obviously, of course, well within your right to do that. You check it with the triangle, so of course you can still check it with the short rack.
Another great chance here to get level.
And you have to say, in a couple of minutes, Phil is going to be absolutely distraught, thinking, how the hell is this 4 each?
Yeah, and Liam's going to be thinking the same, only in a totally different way of looking at it. It's to me, Liam's probably favourite if he clears these, just for the mental state alone.
Well, I guess at the end of the day, the misses are what makes pool quite exciting sometimes, isn't it? I mean, it's great to watch fantastic pool, but if we were watching Phil just go through the motions at 7-0, we wouldn't have much to talk about.
No, and but you know, of course you miss. Everybody misses. I think we're talking about the nature and of the chances and the balls that Phil's missed here. You know, I mean, you are talking about really easy, sort of amazing misses and really uncharacteristic mistakes that he's made. It's not like he's, you know, missed tough finishes, and you know, of course everyone does that. It's more of just how unexpected the sort of the level of easiness, the chances that he's missed. Especially given the fact that he's just come off obviously such a big win against Mick.
Is that it too? Maybe sometimes after a big win like that, you're on a high, and then maybe it's hard to keep that high. Maybe you just come down a wee bit. And Liam's not the type of boy you want to take the foot off the gas against.
Phil's going to be looking at this scoreline, wondering what's going on.
Yeah, definitely. Mentally, Liam's in a far better position.
So you saw the video with some messages from our sponsors, and I would like to give a big shout out and a mention to all of those sponsors. Thank you for making this possible. You can see the hoardings around the arena. The main sponsors: Supreme, Strachan, to K8, to Home Leisure Direct, to Jason Owen, to Aramith, and to Jed Ronan. Of course, Jed Ronan from the Winning Post. Jed's been your bookie over this weekend. He's probably stopped taking bets now, but you can catch him for the next series. He puts the prices up on the Players Pool event page, so if you've not done so before, please sign up to that one on Facebook. And also, as you're on YouTube or Facebook, could you subscribe to the Bid Productions page? And one other thing I'd ask you to do is, whatever device you're watching on, could you possibly share it on your timeline so lots and lots of people get to see this fascinating match.
Yellow ball's in play.
So Phil's working this one. He's nominated yellows. There's one problem ball, but it's not so much of a problem. He's got plenty of balls around it, and he only needs to give a little nudge on the red above it, which he may well try to do now. And there you see just that little nudge to push the red aside. Played it perfectly. He's just looking now at the path of the white. He doesn't want to touch any of those yellows. Sorry, any of those reds in the top left-hand corner. I'm taking it he's got a path through there, Ronan. Just
his problem is maybe this bottom ball, but you can actually leave it the last and just run around the two cushions for the black. So it just has to get take this ball to them. Take the ball to the middle, get straight in the other one, and he's grand.
I mean, this is Phil Harrison who controls the cue ball as good as anybody, and he's just struggling with.
I think he's okay here. I think as long as he gets straight on this ball, he's oh my. I thought he'd missed that.
I think Phil thought he'd missed it as well.
It's actually perfect. It did look wide, that, from...
The thing is, normally when you watch Phil, it's a nice, relaxing, you know, Phil's just going to clear up. I mean, your heart's in your mouth at the moment, because you just think he's going to...
Oh, he's done it again, has he? Is he on it?
Yeah, he is on it. He's definitely on it, but goodness
only
me.
just another inch, and he's not on that. Oh, he's perfect.
I mean, it's incredible to say it, but you know, you just don't see Phil Harrison making these kind of errors, and I mean, it just can't be simple enough for Phil at the moment, and he'll enjoy that one. He's just sat in the corner, a little shake of his head again, just he can't quite work out what's going on. But I'll tell you what, it's even for the mistakes he's making, he's still in the lead, and he has to take heart from that.
Yeah. But it's just hard to know who's going to win at the minute, because it's a bit like the last semi-final. They're not playing the way they can. It's hard to know who's going to win.
Referee George assembling the rack. There's a certain style, does it in exactly the same order every time. Puts the balls over on the side rail and then flicks them across. Builds it from the second row back. Under close scrutiny. It's good enough for George. Liam's going to check it out, make sure he's equally happy. As I say, you'll see this routine. This is a close inspection. See this routine where he rubs the cloth,
Liam to break, trailing 5 frames.
puts the ball down with one finger, and then he'll revisit it, find his exact spot. Nice break. Timed it well, white ball straight up the centre of the table.
Yeah, if the yellow doesn't go by the red, so might give him a wee bit of work.
One thing I noticed, and it's noticeable from that shot, as he breaks, the cue ball, the cue goes up in the air. Would you recommend he doesn't do that, or is the transference of power already happened and it doesn't matter so much? Because you don't want the cue necessarily going in the air.
No,
do you?
he is losing some power up in there, but the problem is he's breaking off his hand, so
Yeah.
it's almost impossible to drive down through the bed like you would if you were breaking off the rail.
Yeah.
So, but he's putting his hand on the table just because he knows he doesn't have to hit him as hard as he would, on a table where they were using a triangle or a table that didn't have a new cloth. So
Yeah.
he's putting his hand on the table because he feels like he can still get the power that he needs, and he feels like he can control it more. Jason Twist always used to break with his hand on the table. The point I did make as well before was years ago the line, the bulk line, always used to be marked at 25%.
Yes.
Which did make more of a case for breaking with your hand on the table because there was more room. Now it's at 20%.
Yeah.
So it is a little bit more hunched to get your hand in.
He's in a bit of trouble here. He's got a lot of work to do with this one.
Hamper cueing, yeah.
Yeah, I can't see an easy way of getting onto that problem yellow. Unless he can play this with a lot of run inside, but he's not seeing enough of the cue ball, I think.
You can see him cueing it. He can just get to the side of the ball, but he's going to be imparting a lot of right-hand side on this, isn't he? Oh, now he's playing over the top to play centre. And he's just going to...
It's actually a good shot.
Just going to cover the bag.
Yeah, he's played that well. He's got Phil in a bit of trouble.
I know there's been questioned before, Ronan. I mean, obviously you play IPA now, you play predominantly black ball. Yet when you played your money match against Carl, you chose world rules. Is that still your preference?
Yeah, well, like Gareth made the point earlier on, as far as black ball goes, it's better to watch. It's better for the viewer. It's more understandable. And it's a bit easier on the eye than world rules.
Yeah.
But if you're playing for your life savings, world rules is more a game you can control.
Yeah.
The luck element goes out a wee bit. So I think it's if you're playing for your life savings, you want to be playing world rules. If you there's just too much luck involved in black ball. I think.
Yeah.
Especially if the break. I think the break rules an absolute disaster in black ball, where you get 2 shots.
Yeah.
If you get kicked in off, you basically lose the frame.
Yeah.
Which it's not fair, and I don't think it's a good rule at all.
In the meantime, I did say that Phil Harrison is probably the best double over ball there is, and he's just shown exactly why there. That first shot, played a great double, and not only a great double, he got great position on the ball in the middle.
Yeah, he's just gone from, I mean, Ronan described it as Phil being in quite a bit of trouble, and he's gone from being in a bit of trouble to
Yeah, well,
to having a chance.
that one double, just
Yeah.
from being in trouble, he's played a double, and all
Yeah.
of a sudden he's got a great chance.
Shows what a great shot it was.
And just to clear up, we're not people on the chat. We're not criticising Dunster's break at all. We're just talking about how his break is different, and he's the only player that breaks with his hand on the table.
Yep.
There's been no criticism towards it saying he shouldn't do it or
No.
he should do this, should do that. We're just talking about it because that's what he does. So I think you should listen to what's being said. And he just decelerated on that one, Phil.
He did. I think he's all right, but
See, I don't think he is all right. I think he's decelerated too much where the cue ball is going to run towards the black. I think he's okay where he can.
I think he can drop it in.
He can drop it in, but the cue ball is taking the line towards the black, though.
Yeah, that's not where he wanted to be for sure, but no, he's grand.
So he had to sort of, had no choice. He dropped it in, left the cue ball further away from this than he would have wanted, but I still expect him to pot it. Hit that nice, hit it softly, got the cue ball to bite.
Well, Liam, when he covered that bag, he would have thought for the world that he was coming back to the table. But what a clearance that is from Phil Harrison. Having missed those early balls, it just shows the mental aptitude to be able to just take those 3 paces away, put that behind him, and then just still produce fantastic pool like that.
Yeah, very good finish, and especially, like you say, considering the couple of big errors that he had made before, that was a great finish. And all started off by what would be Phil Harrison's best shot on an English pool table, and that's the double.
Frame 11, Phil to break, leading 6 frames to 4. Time running.
So Phil goes again. He's leading 6 frames to 4. Oh, that white ball. That white ball was so close to kicking in.
Ball potted.
Oh, that was a terrible break from Phil, and it's actually worked out probably one of the best breaks, is it, in the match. Balls have come out the best. I mean, he completely lost the cue ball, nearly went in off, and he didn't apologise to Liam, but he definitely should have, because I can't believe he didn't go off in the middle, and look how they've come out.
Yeah, he did. He hit the knuckle twice against Mick. Didn't go in off once, but he's definitely tracking towards that middle bag. What is that? He's not just flushing the front, he's just catching it slightly to the side.
Well, it's not even slightly to go, it's slightly if you go towards the corners. He's basically hitting the front ball, half ball, to stun into the middle pocket.
Yeah.
Gavin Donnelly has said great commentary, he's really enjoying it.
Thanks for your kind words to Morris.
I think most of that would be aimed at you, Nick. You've been here all weekend, non-stop for every single match.
enjoyed every moment.
Yellow ball's in play.
What's the plan for the 2 balls on the yellow here, Gareth? Is he going to try and move one now, or
He's
is he
going to
just
kick.
going to land on
He's
it?
going to kick it out now.
He is, yeah.
He's going to kick the second one out now. Well, he did. He didn't play. He didn't play to hit that one.
No.
He played to hit the other one.
No,
But he has actually finished perfect.
So it looks like the angle now is just going to take him towards the black. Is he going to use that as a stopper and then take the yellow next to it in the middle?
I think he's pretty straight on this one into the middle, I think.
Is he a bit straighter?
Yeah, I think he's pretty straight.
Is a slight angle, but look.
Oh, yeah, he's
yeah,
taking...
yeah, I think that's a good shot there. Yeah.
So again, probably got too much angle on the one in the middle now.
Yeah.
When you're playing shots off the rail like the one he just potted, you want to cue through them. You want to sort of give it a little bit. If you're dropping them in dead weight, they do play a little bit harder. So he wanted to make sure he cued through it, and he got through it a little bit too much.
Yeah, pretty much straight would have been. He could have just about done anything he wanted. So it's now plan C. And again, decelerated.
Maybe.
I don't think he decelerated. He just never punched it enough.
Yeah.
He just got a little bit too high on the cue ball.
Phil really making hard work of this clearance.
He should be still all right,
Yeah.
but he has made it a wee bit harder than he wanted.
So he's screwing inside the yellow here, like that.
Yeah, good shot.
He's missed it. Oh, it's just going to the left-hand side of the bag. I didn't think the pocket was going to take that for a second.
Oh, he's absolutely all over the place on this. He'll be happy with
That's
that.
incredible, isn't it?
And it's twice in this rack now that Phil should have apologised. Once when he should have gone off in the middle from the break, and once with that cannon. Neither of them he has.
He's had a touch.
Oh, he has. He did apologise after it was all over.
So he's Phil Harrison somehow is 7 frames to 4 up, and at least 3 of those 4 that Liam has, they've just been handed.
So Damien Millwood is on the stream. Hello, Damo. Long time no see. I hope you're keeping well.
A lot of Scottish support cheering on Liam, and why not? Got to be one of the most successful players in Scotland over the last year. And Ronan, the strength and depth from Scotland, it just seems to have gone up a notch over the last year with Liam and Scott Gillespie. And I mean, do you know what's triggering it?
It's hard to say, because like maybe 5 or 6 years ago, Scotland wouldn't have been seen as a very strong. There are always a lot of good players. Obviously, Ross McInnes, Jason Shaw. They've always had a lot of good, strong players. But just seems to be this last couple of years now. They've got probably three of the best in the world, and Liam, Mark, and Scott Gillespie's playing fantastic.
Yeah.
You know, so the three players you really want to avoid in the draw, whereas 2 or 3 years ago they wouldn't, you know, even Scott wouldn't have been playing as well, and Mark and Liam obviously, but Liam's a young lad.
Yeah.
But they just seem to all have sort of, they're probably pushing each other on, you know, and they're three real top players now, yeah.
Phil just briefly stepped away for a bathroom break. He'll be back momentarily.
Yes, Demo running's here as well. We need to get caught up someday, mate, if you're about the pool facility. We'll maybe get caught up in old times.
Frame 12, Liam to break, trailing 7 frames to 4. Time running.
Steve Cole said say hi to Andy Beresford. For me, used to be my old boss. Yeah, Andy from Home Leisure Direct, that is. Great company, and he's a great guy. Still work a lot with Andy.
Right, look from Liam there. He's gone dry. What's the preference here? I mean, no real openers on yellow, nothing easy, an easy opener on reds.
I think he has got an option of putting a yellow, but it's thin into the middle, so he may go reds and maybe try and flick his. I think he's probably got to go yellows.
I think he's got the yellow to the middle and cannon into one of the other ones.
Yeah.
You know, he's more or less bound to be on something.
The red tied up on the bulk line and the one on the rail.
Yeah, I think if he pots this, he's good. Oh, he's played the long one.
Had one to bottom corner.
Yeah, well, it's a good confident shot, that. Yeah, he's good now for 8-4.
Somebody asked a question how old Liam was. I think he is
23, I think.
23? Is it 23? I can soon confirm, but I think you're right, yeah.
He's done a lot in pool for a 23-year-old lad.
24.
You would imagine by the time he reaches 35, he'll have a lot of he'll have a lot of titles under the belt.
Oh yeah. I need to ask you a question, Ronan. Did you, by any chance, write Mark Farnsworth's profile for him? Have you read Mark Farnsworth's profile?
No, but nothing would surprise me.
Well, I don't reckon he wrote it himself, that's all. I just wondered if it was you.
No, he probably did. you don't always get what you would expect when we're talking about Mark.
Oh, he looks like he's done a proper one now.
I think I'd much prefer to read the one that he did when he was full of goose.
Yeah.
Oh no, sorry, I made a mistake. It was your profile. I wondered if Mark wrote your profile. It was the other way round. Have you seen your profile on here?
No, I haven't.
Oh, right, okay.
I haven't seen it, but what's the...
So, sponsor, Huggies.
Oh, right.
Relationship status, in love. Who made your cue? Myself. Tip manufacturer, phenolic 12mm.
Oh,
Pool achievements, greatest accolades. Beat Carlo Donahue in a decider for money. When and why did you start playing pool? When I was a kid, I was ugly and very shy, and women were off the menu, so I played pool instead.
That's the only truthful thing you said.
yeah, that was me. Yeah.
So,
Yeah, it sounds like
Yes.
sounds like either Mark or Gareth's been involved in
I
that
just,
one.
I wanted to tell you well, me and Gareth had a conversation about this before,
All right,
and
so-
he
so-
blamed somebody else.
So was used to.
So, who is your favourite pool Q Sports player and why? Gareth Potts. His body is so sexy. if he ever had a sex change, yeah, I won't carry on with that. I remember reading this when you were live in the last event and thinking to myself, I can't read any of this out. It's just, do you have any other sporting talent? I can't swim.
Well, I actually can't. That's one bit that's true. I don't know who would have done that, or what? How would I get through without my?
some of it is true, so I think you have had some influence. Or somebody that knows you well has written that.
The last bit, surely, for the swimming bit. Apart from that, not so sure.
Phil did clear, and it is now 8-4, and it is now sort of no more misses from Liam, or this match is gone. It could still be gone even if he doesn't miss, but it definitely will be gone if he makes any more mistakes, I think.
Oh, I'll let you read. I won't read this out on air. I'll let you read it. But all these profiles are available through the Players Pool site. But
Was that a funny story or an interesting, unique fact about you? The answer you've put is Oli Bale played you for money once. That was very funny.
Well, it actually was very funny.
I was actually in the club watching because it was played in my hometown in Yeovil, and Gaz was there.
Yeah.
Quite shortly after that,
Yeah,
or
guys.
before that. It was after, was it?
Yeah, we played after.
Jason played him first, and then I played him, and then guys.
You were just queuing up, I know. Yeah.
I remember a funny story about the time that Gareth played him. Me and Mark Farnsworth went down to obviously want as much money on Gareth as we could, so we got our bet on at the start of the match, and then where me and Mark started taking a lot of bets once the match had started, and Mark, all these boys were coming forward. We were giving like a 4-frame start or 2-1 odds, but they were queuing up, firing money at this. And Mark turns around to me and he goes, "How much money are you crying, sir? You know, when do we stop taking bets?" And I turned around to Mark and said, "Just whenever the pen runs out of ink."
So had Gaz somehow lost that match, you probably wouldn't.
If it had lost, well, we obviously hadn't got the money to cover all the bets, but we would have sorted it out.
Yeah.
You know, but we hadn't got the money to pay up there then, but we were never stopping taking bets. That was for sure. Mark sort of looked at me as if to say, "What do you mean?" I says, "Just you keep riding, son."
Yeah, I was in the club for both of those games.
And no disrespect to Ollie, but I thought that was a very poor choice of matches that he picked for. You know, if you, a good money player will always look for the easiest options, but to pick myself and Jason and Gareth is probably not the best idea in the world.
Phil jumped up off that. He thought he'd missed that. He did hit it into the near knuckle, but good shot. Good shot. He's pushed the black. I held the cue ball on the black, but he's also pushed the black into a place where it easily pots into the middle.
And I said at the start that Phil, with his usual head shakes and little sort of funny motions when he just runs a couple of inches out of position, and he's quite famous for it. But we really haven't seen it. I mentioned I hadn't seen it in the other game. We really haven't seen it in this game either, which is odd because I've never not seen it from Phil.
I think he's a far better player when he doesn't get on like that. You know, when he just gets on with the game and doesn't,
Yeah.
you know, do all that. He's more fluent around the table, and I think it drags him down a bit when he does that.
Well, it builds layers in your mind, doesn't it?
Yeah,
You just get kind of a negative vibe.
Yeah.
You're telling your brain that something negative has just happened, even though
It hasn't.
it hasn't,
Yeah.
and you still cleared the balls.
Totally agree. He'd be a better player if he didn't do that.
So from 4-all, Phil really has shown his class. We did wonder how he would react to those early mistakes he made, and they were big mistakes that he wouldn't. Lesser players, they might have let those get into their psyche and concern them, but Phil's having none of it. He's put it all behind him, and he won the next 5 frames.
Someone in the chat's asked what was the price of this final before, and I'm not 100% sure. He's asked if it was 1 to 3.
It wouldn't have been close to 1 to 3, that's for sure.
No, I don't think so. I think maybe they would have Phil like maybe 4 to 7, 1 to 2
1
max.
to 2.
Yeah.
It's never going to be. It's never going to be. You're not going to have Liam again at 2 to 1 against anybody.
No.
I think he's going to be slight favourite, Phil, but not a massive favourite. Yeah, somebody says 4 to 7. I think that's probably about right.
Yeah. Well, Andy Sheldon, 5 to 6 both. I can't believe it was 5 to 6 both.
No, these are just people guessing.
Right.
The price was would have been 4 to 7.
I
1
think
to
4
2.
to 7, 5 to 4 is the proper betting for the match.
Yeah, around 4 to 7, 1 to 2. So Liam's obviously took a toilet break, but it is Phil's to lose now from here.
Yeah, it's gonna take Phil's break to totally dry up for Liam to get back in the game, because Phil's not gonna keep missing balls and give him chances.
Oh, sorry, Andy Sheldon said it was 5 to 6. But you do have to remember that the bookie has been here all weekend taking a number of different bets on a lot of different outright prices. So a lot of those prices are reflected on where the money's gone and where he needs to balance things up sometimes.
Yeah, well, I do get that a bit, because
Frame 14,
Phil, he hasn't got a massive gambling following, whereas a lot of people from Scotland would have good bets on Liam. So I do get that.
Low potted.
Damien Millwood has mentioned the couple over to the left-hand side of the arena in Phil Harrison's corner. They deserve a mention. They definitely do. They have absolutely been here. They've definitely been here all day. They were saying they were here at 9:57 waiting to buy Mick a drink. They've been here all day today, and I've got a feeling they might have been here all day yesterday as well. They must absolutely love their pool. They've been glued to it. Most of the time they've been sat in the comfy chairs watching Table 11. But there's a couple of people who must really enjoy their pool.
That's nominated. Red Bull's in play.
So obviously it goes without saying this is a must-win frame for Liam. He can't afford to let Phil get on the hill without putting a couple of frames under his belt.
Well, the balls are certainly in a good position for the run out. He hasn't much work to do as long as he minds the cue ball.
I mean, if you put it into the real context, he needs to win 7 frames to 1 against Phil Harrison.
Yeah, it's a big ask, but
Yeah.
the only thing about Liam is he's one player that can do it, because like we said earlier, he's not gonna give up, and he's gonna keep doing what he does, keep fighting. A lot of other players would throw the towel and just want home now. Liam will keep battling.
Yeah, interesting you say that actually, because Jordan Church was playing here on the stream table earlier, and he was playing Mick Hill, and I'd spoken to him beforehand, and I said, "You're having a great weekend," and he said, "It's just my break." He said, "I'm breaking really well, just leaving plop-ins, just the break's really working." And he must have jinxed himself, because he came on to here and he could not pot a ball off the break. And he was just never in it. And in the last frame, he literally just put the ball down and just sort of almost tap broke the front and potted 3 balls, and it was just typical. But that's the kind of thing, and that's no disrespect to Jordan. I mean, he was like 10-4 down or something, and really struggling. But that's the kind of thing that you would never see from Liam.
No. He gives every shot 100%, so even though he's that far behind, he can still win, but it's very unlikely.
Yeah.
Wanted an angle on this last red across the back rail. He's ended up with too much of one. Still okay, but it has finished probably as bad as it could have, because the white is glued to the rail. See, he's having to jack up to hold the cue ball now.
Played it well. Good shot.
Anne Whelan says she's been watching all weekend since Friday, since the start, and still glued to it. Love to have you on board. Thanks for joining us, and we're absolutely thrilled that you enjoyed it.
Is that Ronnie's mum?
Not sure.
There's Mrs. William on saying Jack's. What?
Yeah, that's
who's
yeah, and that's Jack's mum. And
Ronnie's
just
mum?
yeah, just for the just to let you know, and that Ronan calls Jack Ronnie, so that's what he meant by that. But I am glad you've enjoyed it and you're still watching it.
Yeah, and you can be proud of your boy as well. He had a pretty good weekend, and who's to say he won't win one of these events? What a cracking player he is.
Definitely more than capable, and definitely has the firepower to win one. He's just got to put it all together on a weekend. Definitely more than capable.
So Phil's break.
Great break. Best break he's hit.
Yeah, he's hit them well.
See the cue ball come back in a dead straight line, and he hit him hard.
He's been unfortunate.
Well, you say unfortunate.
Well, he's got
He's got a shot on the yellows.
Yeah, he has. Yeah, if he frees out, he's got a good chance.
And he's not only got the angle to knock his bad ball out, but he's also guaranteed to be on one of the yellows that's over the middle.
Yeah, it's not bad at all, really. He deserved a bit of luck because he crunched them. So he's walking around the table like he's no finish.
So the plan to pop the yellow into centre. You can just drop it in and then take the one to top corner and knock his bad one out.
Yeah, well, he has the option to take the one next to the black away now. So take the one next to the black away now, and then this end of the table is cleared.
Leave the gap, yeah.
And then come back over to the right-hand side of the table.
It is an awkward one to get back on with the black being adjacent to it, so you can clear the whole of the bottom of the table now.
Perfect.
I guess the beauty of this shot, he can play this knowing that if he doesn't land on the yellow he's making contact with, he's still going to have the one over the middle. So is he just looking to just nudge this out? There's going to be no pace to this shot at all, is there?
He wants to hit right between the first red and the yellow.
Yeah.
Just to flick the yellow out towards the corner bag and leave himself on the one to the middle.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to hit it full because he might not leave himself on the... He's hit it full, but he's hit it at a good pace, but he's left himself a wee bit humble.
He's got a bit of a smiley one into the middle now because...
Yeah, this is, well, it looks easy there, but it's tricky with the awkward cueing.
Yeah, this is an awkward shot. And even at 9 frames to 5 up, it comes with a little bit of pressure. He desperately doesn't want to let Liam back. Yeah, great shot.
Played it well.
And you see Liam in the background. Well, you wouldn't see that, sorry, it's a different camera angle, but Liam in the background was tapping his leg.
Which is also good. You know, he's...
Oh. Why is he...
Well, Liam would have probably been tapping his leg for that to hurry up. Because
I don't think he's on it, is he?
No, he's not. Well, can he double it?
No, it's definitely not on it.
Why is he hammered that?
Well, he just played it as like it was a little punchy stun shot, and he just got a little bit too high on the cue ball, didn't he? But he may be able to play across the face of it and double it.
Wow. As I say, you won't want to let Liam back into this, and that one's not going in.
It just did. It's amazing because most of the frames that Liam has won, Phil has totally handed them to him. The match should be over now.
And these are about as easy as they get for Liam. I guess the only thing that needs any consideration is the red just at the bottom of that line, because it only goes into one of the pockets, so he's going to address that now. And 9-6 with Liam's break. If he can break and dish at 9-7, there's a renewed pressure on Phil.
Yeah, because it's in his head now that he should be, you know, he should be.
Oh, he knows.
He should be on the motorway now.
Yeah. With a check in his pocket.
Yeah.
Well, I said a moment ago that Liam needs to beat Phil 7-1. He's done the first part as best as he can. He's won 2 frames. He needs to string another couple together to really apply a bit of extra pressure to Phil.
Well, the more frames he wins, the more the pressure builds on Phil. So it's from 9-4 you couldn't see any way how he's going to win, but 9-6 it's not a massive deficit.
How would you, I mean, a minute ago, you probably wouldn't have offered any odds whatsoever at 9-4. Would you offer a price now?
Well, obviously still Phil's a massive favourite, but
Yeah.
but it's the mental side of it. It's the fact that Phil knows the game should be over.
Well, it's not. It's in a couple of spells now, isn't it? He put the first spell behind him, but now he's done it again.
Yeah, but the way it is, if you miss them easy finishes, then the next time you're on an easy one, it's twice as hard, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Because you've already, the more simple balls you miss, the harder it gets. And if Liam wins this frame here, if he does happen to break and dish, it just might be hard for Phil to crawl over the line. It might get to the point that he needs something really, really simple.
It really is fascinating the way the game plays out. It's
trailing 9 frames to 6.
you think something's just a given, but there's always some twists and turns.
Yeah, well, like I said, at the end of the day, everybody, you know, a lot of people at home watching think you can't miss, but we're all human beings,
Yeah.
you know, and it is 3 days of it. It's the hardest 3 days you'll get of pool, and we're all capable of missing, and we all do miss, and
Yeah.
like you say, that's what makes it interesting too, because if you just potted every ball, there wouldn't be much excitement.
I'm trying to look for potential problems on this table, and I don't really see any. These should be gone, shouldn't they?
It's all about the first shot. I think he has to play the red and the bottom left as we're looking at it. And if he gets it, he's only seeing half the cue ball, so it's not just a gimme, but if he gets it.
Is there no value in the red which is virtually on the blue spot. And
Well, yeah, I didn't actually. I didn't know if he was on it or not. Just is he not near touching that other one?
yeah, maybe. Nice pop.
He should get these now. Still a wee bit of work, but just has to get on that bottom red, the one beside the black. This is only issue. It's perfect. Probably just leave the one over the middle to last for the hold for the black. So it's the one in the middle corner, middle, black. What's he done there?
Did that surprise you, the way he's played that? I mean, I would have thought he would have just played through to somewhere around about where that chalk mark is on the right-hand side and taken the one at the bottom next.
I thought he would too, but he's going to take this top one now and come down for the one in the middle. Well, the red obviously goes by the yellow and to the... I'm still a bit surprised. Well, I suppose he can hold off the yellow ball here, so it should be okay, but...
It could go wrong. I mean, he's not going to be able to play this with any kind of pace, is he?
I wasn't too sure if that red went by the yellow, but obviously it does.
Yeah.
But I still think it would have went the other way.
Yeah, this could go wrong.
If he doesn't catch it full ball, it can go wrong. He's grand.
So this is going to be another frame back on the board. And he's going to be drawing.
Oh, just
he's
made it.
okay. Oh.
And while the pressure keeps building on Phil's head here, because like I keep saying, he should be on his way home.
Just play this with a trace of right hand side just to kick it in.
Where's my...
No, it's okay.
Oh,
These pockets are big. That was never anywhere else.
if he wins this next one, then it gets really interesting.
Well, it's basically back on break then, isn't it?
Yeah.
If he can steal this one.
Yeah, it says back on breaks, right?
And then he's got a break dish to draw level. So it shows how key this next break is for Phil Harrison.
It also shows how key not to make careless errors like Phil did there to go 10-5.
Yeah, 10-5, it's more or less over, but 9-7, that's still well in the bounds.
17, Phil to break, leading 9 frames to 7. Time running.
Oh wow! You know, that's twice in a row that he should have gone off in that middle one.
And it actually should have went in off.
Twice.
And then it nearly got kicked in off
Yeah.
as well. And he's hit the knuckle both times.
He did that the last time he broke.
Time out.
What's he like? Are they any good?
Yeah, you can see it. Look at that. He should have gone in there, should have gone in there, and could have gone in there 3 times. And
What's it like?
yeah, they're there.
Reds or yellows? I can't really see.
I think both. I think he has the option.
Time running.
The 2 yellows near the middle look a wee bit.
Does the
tricky.
bottom one not go?
Not sure. It's hard to.
If the bottom one doesn't go, then you have to go reds.
Yeah.
Red ball's in play.
I don't think he's got any trouble on reds, has he? I think they'll go. Yeah, they're all pretty straightforward.
Leo said the pool gods are with Phil tonight, and I think they definitely are, especially from the break. But you do need them with you, and you do need luck to win any tournament, especially one as big as this. Sometimes it's just meant to be.
Yeah, you're never really going to win a pool competition these days with so many good players that at some stage of the tournament you need things to go your way. You need somebody to miss easy balls, or you need a good run of the ball yourself.
Can just drop this in, bounce the cue ball back off to somewhere where it is now, and that would leave him dead straight.
Yeah, he just wants to be straight. Perfect.
So that was a lucky break from Phil, but once he had avoided going in off 3 times, he did make them look as easy as they were.
He needed to get that frame too, because the chances he's had, Liam was right back in the match. It's always good to get the 10, just to, you know, you only need one more chance.
It's not over this though. If Liam can break and clear here, 10-8, it puts the pressure on Phil's serve again.
The good thing for Phil is he's going to have two breaks to win the match. So
So a hugely significant break for Liam. Has to make a ball. And he does.
And he hit that one nice.
he did.
And he hit it a bit harder as well.
It's not easy.
Wow.
The red that's on the edge of the short rack there, that he's...
I think has he got this yellow to the corner, the bottom right, and kick the other yellow out? Kick the red and yellow that's beside each other.
Let's wait till he's moved this and have a proper look at it from the overhead.
I think he might be okay if he can get into that yellow. Oh, what's he done here?
What happened?
He's moving them all over the shop.
Time running.
He's flicked the yellow, but it's not too far off where it was. I think he's got the yellow to the bottom right and just nudge into that red. Free the yellow. He's always going to land on the one to the top corner.
He's slightly hampered though, your shot over the yellow that's on the rail.
Is he hampered, or
I think so.
can he not get to the middle of the cue ball? No. If he's hampered, it's tricky. But can't really see any other way out.
Yellow's nominated.
What? I'm surprised at this.
Good shot.
Great shot.
Good shot. How well did he hit that?
He's still got this the problem. Maybe goes to the middle, the yellow tied to the red.
I think that was quite tight as well, so bridging and striking down on the cue ball like that was a good shot.
Yeah, very good shot. He's actually been a wee bit unlucky where he's left the white, because he would like to get rid of that top ball, but he's cueing awkward on it. He's going to nudge this yellow and red now. Oh, he's no luck there at all.
He's in no man's land now.
He's in trouble.
Wow, what are the options here? There's no attacking options.
No, he has to free them two yellows and get a good cue ball somehow.
But is there a good cue ball anywhere on the table? I mean,
it's that's not bad. Left a double maybe.
yeah.
Can he get to the potting angle of this?
Don't think it.
I think he can.
Can I? Nice.
Well, he's down there having a good look at it and immediately called extension.
I think he can pot this.
Yeah, I think you're right. I just think from his body language and the fact he immediately called extension when he realised he could pot it.
No. he
He
could.
could, and he has.
My
And
God.
that's a great shot.
Well,
And,
could this be final rights?
well, I think so. I mean, he's got...
Is the black going to the bottom left?
Yes, I think it does.
Could be Oliver then. Liam's been a wee bit unfortunate leaving that gap.
Yeah, he has. And if Phil does go on to finish this, Liam was obviously distraught at the first event, but it was probably the nature. It was a case of missed chances against Scott, wasn't it? And it was probably the nature of the way he lost. He can probably take a lot more from this because he just hasn't really had as many chances, and the ones he has had, when Phil's kind of thrown them to him.
Oh, hold on. There's a big pocket on the other side. If it's a chance there.
Yeah, I think Phil played that thinking, well, even if I cover the pocket, I'm still okay. But you're right.
He just has to stun this in, and it's the perfect angle on the ball to the middle to run up.
Yeah, so, yeah, you're exactly right. So he stuns this one into the left corner, pots the one into the right middle, and leaves an angle because the awkward yellow, or what Phil thought was the awkward yellow, I don't know if he didn't look or didn't realise, but he has left a big pocket for that yellow, and I think that's why he's sort of...
Yeah, he knows now.
He knows now that he's left to finish.
Because he probably shouldn't have played that ball.
Perfect.
Perfect, yeah. I think you're right. I think he played that shot sort of half-hearted, thinking if I get the bag, even I've won. But he hasn't checked the other corner. Obviously, if that red's not near the other corner, it makes it the finish 3 times harder.
Doesn't want to be straight here.
He's not hit it.
Oh,
He's not hit it at all.
No. It's not like him because he had the perfect line.
Yep. No. Not hit it.
Can I get round off this other one, or does he have to clip it?
So he has got 2 options, like you say. He can go 2 cushions maybe off the other one, or he can try to clip it. If he clips it, well, the cue ball's sort of probably up and down the table 3 times.
Who's going for it? Hold on to your hats.
Great shot.
What a shot.
Hold on.
What a shot.
No, it's dead. Can't get out.
I mean...
It's been a bit unfortunate there.
Oh, yeah. He needed a touch of luck playing it like that, but
of course,
it was an incredible pot.
I think the chances were he was gonna land on one of the 2 there.
The bad shot was the shot before.
Yeah, definitely. Can I drop that in and hold for the middle?
No.
Oh,
He's clattered into it.
is he clipping it?
No, it doesn't go, and he
Doesn't
can't, and he
go.
can't double it either.
You can back
Can
double it to the middle,
He can back double it to the middle, yeah.
but it's not nice.
He's kind of got a wry smile on his face. It's he's not had any piece of luck at any time during this frame, but it has been compounded by that one shot. He's come up short.
Oh yes. Oh, what a shot!
Fantastic shot.
Brilliant shot.
Brilliant shot and brilliant finish.
What a great clearance. And,
I think he deserved that. It was Phil's bad shot that gave him the chance again.
this final looks like it's been over, or should have been over a couple of times now, and it's still going. I mean, I was almost delivering last rites there. It's Phil looked for the world. That was just a simple clearance.
But again, nearly every frame that Liam has won in this match, it's been Phil has nearly handed them to him.
Yeah, made a howler. Well, here we go again. I mean, okay, Phil's got the break, but my goodness, is he going to be feeling the pressure, or is he just going to say, here we are? I mean, he's not.
Maybe not now, but if he breaks dry here, breaks and goes in off, he could be back to 10 each before he gets back to the table, and then he's under all sorts.
And he's been mighty close to that middle bag several times now.
Yeah, he's nearly.
But he's not been dry, has he?
He nearly deserves to go into the middle, you know,
Yeah.
for the times that he hasn't.
Yeah. So, is there more drama yet to unfold? It wouldn't surprise me, there normally is.
Phil just always looks nervous to me, always looks a little bit agitated, always looks fidgety, and he's always, you know, wiping his face, wiping his hands, wiping his cue, and he always looks a little bit fidgety, but that's his way.
What he's going to give here for a flush break and a couple of balls in, I mean, what would you give? Here we go. Oh. Full start.
Oh, he had that more.
Much better break, eh?
If he's on the bottom red beside the yellow,
Yeah.
it's
He is on that bottom red, and he'd like to somehow move the yellow in the same shot because of the black.
Yeah, I think you can play that shot and still be on this bottom red.
The thing with world rules, especially in this instance, is he nominates reds, he's on reds, and look at the control he's got on the reds, even if he doesn't clear.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got a free dig at them here.
Yeah, Phil's just gone a very big favourite, but with the howlers he's made throughout the tournament, oh, it's not a gimme, is it? He'll be a pool player.
Yeah, he just wants to flick that yellow out the road and not too thick to free the black.
That was one of his better breaks, wasn't it? It's,
Yeah.
Yeah, he hit them well.
Probably wisely taken his extension early.
Does the black go by the yellow into the middle? The other middle?
Probably not.
I suppose it'll go to the top, but it's just...
Look at the overhead camera angle. I think it might.
Yeah, well, it'll go to the top.
Go to the top edge. Yeah.
Yeah, he just wants to leave himself a shot. I don't know.
Or you can use the red that's near the middle to bump the yellow out of the way so the black does go into the other middle.
I think was he playing on the top one there, the plant? No? Or?
I think he's going your way and he's just going to play on to the black in either the middle or the corner.
Yes.
So he'll leave the one adjacent to the right centre as his penultimate, as his last ball.
Yeah,
his last red.
Takes the one over the bag now. Yeah. Yeah, it's perfect.
So really, I mean, the next three balls should be a given. This is all about the position from the last ball to the black.
He just wants to get the cue ball back to where it's at now. Leave himself a nice wee run down by the middle of the table. Short a bit. He hasn't much room to work with now. He's gone close to that red.
He just quit on that shot a little bit.
Yeah, he did. He's just left himself a lot finer margin now.
Still a bit of drama left in this. Wow.
It's just all about pace, this shot. Short a bit, is it?
No.
Short?
No, I think he's perfect.
I think you could drop that on
I
the hole.
think he can plan it into the corner.
Yeah.
Do you think so?
Yeah.
It
There you go, just there.
oh,
where he's aiming.
it looks a lot thinner on the top screen. Yeah, I'm looking at it there now on the other screen, and it is actually perfect. You maybe even play on the yellow now. Oh, it's perfect. I think it goes to the middle anyway, doesn't it?
Oh, so this black between Phil Harrison and the title.
It's taken to the top.
He's going to middle.
That's the middle.
It's in.
He's got it. Oh, look at that. The reaction from Phil. He's absolutely over the moon. What a fantastic win. And who'd take it away from him? He's battled so hard. The disappointment from the Lost World Championship a couple of weeks ago, he'll be able to put that behind him. What a great win. But hats off to Liam Dunster. I mean, you can only just give the guy credit. 2 finals in a row, 2 second places in this field. That's just an amazing achievement.
Yeah, amazing to get to 2 finals back-to-back in this field. And I did think that Phil Harrison would win one of these World Rules ones. I did say that when I was asked at the start. He's just so solid.
We'll just go across to Lee. He's going to have a couple of words.
Okay, comes Lee Grass. Part of the team. Okay, the winner of the 2018 second event, Strachan Cup of the Supreme Pool Series, is Phil Harrison, taking home £5,000. Well done. Like I said, we'll just do a couple of photos and then I'll grab a few words in the studio with the 2 guys that made this weekend so special. So, a few photos in the studio.
So they're just going to do a couple of photos and then they will be going into the studio. So just wanted to quickly reflect on the last few days while that's going on in the background. They'll be going across into the studio in just a couple minutes. So, Ronan and Gareth, your thoughts overall? I didn't think that we could improve that much on event 1. There's obviously always improvement to be made, but I think this has just been an entire better presentation.
Yeah, I think possibly that I'm not sure that the standard of this event actually was as good as the first one. To be honest, in depth, there was a lot of very good matches, but I don't know. Maybe that's wrong. But the standard either way was brilliant, and you have to remember we are very late at night. They have been playing for a long amount of time, and to get to 2 finals of these first 2 events, I think the thing to remember as well is Dunster, he doesn't he doesn't play the World Rules. He never plays any World Rules. It's the first World Rules tournament he's played. For him to get to the final of the first 2 World Rules events, I mean, when the Scottish lads and probably the Welsh lads saw that the first 2 events were going to be World Rules, they'd have probably just been thinking, God, just get these first 2 events out of the way and get onto the Black Ball ones.
Yeah.
And Gillespie wins the first one. Dunster gets to the final of them both, and to be fair, the die-hard World Rules player who had to be favourite for the World Rules one, probably at the start, has won one. And Phil's just so solid. All the matches he's played this weekend, he's solid. A few matches and behind, he plays all the right shots. He's very good tactically. And from what I saw this weekend, probably a deserved winner.
Ronan, from your perspective, you've obviously taken part in this event. How's it been for you over the last two?
I've really enjoyed both tournaments. Has been fantastic. They've been well organised. I've seen a couple of people coming on complaining about heat and stuff. Absolute rubbish. You never hear the people that win complaining about heat, and it's just absolute rubbish.
Yeah.
The tables were perfect. You get the odd roll off here and there every competition you play, but as far as tables go, the tables are perfect. It's a great club. There's no, everyone's well run. The only thing that I would have a wee bit of gripe about is people leaving halfway through a tournament or after a few games.
I agree.
I honestly think that's a total disgrace
Yeah.
for people that's bought them on an auction. Paying thousands of pounds to buy people on an auction. They play a couple of matches and they're out the door. Like, I just cannot get my head around how people can do that.
Yeah.
I know that maybe some people had genuine reasons for doing it, but they all hadn't.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it shouldn't happen.
Yeah.
Because I'll tell you why it shouldn't happen. Because the next time they do an auction, a lot of people are going to be sitting going, well, I'm not paying that sort of money. And maybe, this thing, I think something should happen.
Yeah.
They need to make a rule that this can't happen.
Yeah.
Because it's gonna have a snowball effect.
Yep.
And before you know it, the auction will be down to half the value that it should be.
Yep. Definite ways to improve. I can only thank you two guys so much for your commentary over that final. It's been an absolute pleasure. And thank you, Ronan. Thank you, Gareth. I'm going to hand you over to the studio. Leah's with the two contenders, and it's a very good night from the rest of us.
Right, and now with the guys who've just entertained us for the last 2 hours, commiserations, Liam, you got to another final, and unfortunately this time it's Phil that played exceptional pool all weekend and just got a couple of frames ahead of you.
Yeah, I mean, I made a few mistakes earlier on, but luckily for me it went 4 each, and then he's just pulled away from it. I think it was 4 finishes, maybe even 5 finishes in a row. Before I knew anything, it was 9-5 down. He's missed a great chance, obviously, to go 10-5, and I've just kept myself in that frame after frame. Got back to 10-8, but the lead was just far too much. Couldn't claw it back because he was always going to break dish one frame like it on the other end.
I think from what the viewers will see of both players, you like granite. You don't give up. You'll fight to the end, and that shows testament to both players. I mean, obviously you're very skillful, both of you, but you're both match players, and that's why you win many tournaments. The other thing I'd like to say is, well, I mean, we don't see the two. I mean, you play on the world rules side now, you play on the Blackpool side. You're playing a rule set you don't normally play against Phil, who knows the rules inside out. So to compete, having played the rules for probably about a week in total, is some testament to get to 2 finals. So, and that also takes you to the number 1 of the rankings of the series, which is no mean feat in this field. Okay, on to the winner. How does it feel to win such a prestigious title, Phil?
Oh, I'm over the moon, but I'd just like to say Liam's unbelievable to reach 2 finals, and really good stuff. And I've been watching him all week, and I think he's a great player, and he's got a lot of years ahead of him, and I think he's really good.
I bet you're glad he plays on the Blackpool side rather than the World side. Might stop you winning some money.
I'm going to be honest, I've been watching all weekend, and I've said before with the Magic Rack, I really don't think it really matters what rule set we play with that Magic Rack, because the balls just go everywhere. And I don't think it's going to make any difference either way, whether we play black balls or world rules or whatever rules we play. It's not going to make any difference.
Yeah, because there wasn't many tactical frames. It's more a couple of like blocking defensive shots, but it's pretty open.
It was quite aggressive as well. We're both going for it, and I feel that we both struggled a little bit, but But
It's been a long weekend though. You play for 3
Yeah, well,
days,
that's
you
what I
play
was
lots
gonna
of matches, so you're going to be tired.
yeah.
You know, I mean, we've got to try and
I don't like
somehow
to make-
finish
I don't-
earlier.
I don't like to make excuses, but I've been watching Liam, and he can play better than that, and so can I. And,
Yeah, but you have to
but,
take into time,
yeah,
you
we
play
just-
for 3 days, probably on the
that's right.
Friday your level would have been higher.
we just play one frame at a time, and we just try to win every frame, and that's what we do.
Yeah, and you've won most things in the game now. You've won a world title, God knows how many pro events. You know, there's not much more for you to win, is there?
No, but I still love the challenge. I still love to play. I like to play the youngsters. When I was around 25, 30, and I saw the youngsters coming through, I really didn't like it at all, because I thought, you know, it's going to take over. But I realised, you know, when Mick and Chris Mellon and all them come along, I realised I had to change my game, and because we were quite tactical, same as you were, Lee, and so I had to change my game and to play like these guys, and you know, so yeah, I feel like I'm learning all the time.
Well, if you're still learning, it's out for everybody. I mean, you've been around since Jesus was a baby, as Rusty would say.
Yeah.
But no, great tournament, great achievement to win this, and one of the many titles you've won in the past. So, again, a great final. Thanks to both players. We'll, and that's it for the weekend. I think it's been a fantastic 3 days of pool. I'm sure you've all enjoyed the pool. And the next one is 17th to the 19th of August, and that'll be the Supreme Masters. And that one is played to the different set of rules. That'll be the black ball rules. These last 2 events have been world rules. So two more black ball, and then the Supreme Grand Final. So see you in a few weeks. Hope you enjoyed the show. Bye bye for now.